Well, alright. So the server never came back up. And I actually took a break. But I thought I'd work on something in creative. Maybe redo the looter, but maybe make it better. We have that jump platform. It might be good to set that up as kind of a home base for a slightly smaller looter or something. I haven't really thought this out at all. But here we are in creative in this Phoenix Scout, which I haven't used. I think it's a little heavy. Also not in a great position for building. I need to find me an ice lake. Nice flat spot. And that looks like exactly the thing. The looter needs to be redone anyway for Apex, although I don't have Apex, so I can't really do it, but nice. Good going, man. Anyway, that thing's been saved. Yeah. Right, so we need a platform of some sort. Is there some way of getting, yeah, there we go. Don't need anything super intense here. Ooh. I think I want to go you know what? I was building that, I'm going to go small grid actually. Not the looter, but I was building that that drone. I should actually build that drone. I want him to have a down yeah. All right. Just so used to having tools on every bar. So, right. So we were talking about we don't have the drills. It's not going to be hydro. It's going to be absolute simplest drone that can carry a load of ice and navigate itself. we should bring in a jump, the jump base. And we should fix it for what we did. Which, basically looks like that, except these guys were both batteries. And we had a cargo box here. Just like that. I suspect that there would also be a gyro here, which I'll have to go do. It looks like they have their gyro pointing out. Yeah. Or at least those ones. But I know there are other gyros on this base, so. Oh, and I also updated that, didn't I? Which was I bet actually that it looks more like this. At least that's what I would do. I would probably even go further, but yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, and then they had some sort of long stair. Maybe there's still one somewhere else. Yep. I don't even have a copy block, apparently. So what is it? What is you, man? Ramp. I'm guessing there's a ramp there. There. Now it's looking a little more complete. Yeah. If it were me, I'd put ladders along the backside, but should I do that? I should do that. Why not? I'd have ladders on this side too. Just cause. Alright, so we need to find a place on this to put a beacon. And I think I found that place. this stuff is incomplete. But right, JP, reset name, prefix name, and then the beacon. Wait, why did that not? Reset name, prefix name, right. And the beacon goes, huh, hey. Wow, nice. Hello, miss. Awesome that you're checking in. So the beacon. Right. JP beacon, fine. Once right. So now I had a whole bunch of crap on there that won't be on there forever. But what I did have was some totally tubular landing stuff. Huh, my mic is not muted at all. It's not mine. Haha. Okay, maybe it's can you hear me now? No caps, no randomy stuffs. I don't think I want that to come out. You should be able to hear me, so I'm not sure why you're not if you're not. Ha! You were muted, okay. Yeah. I dislike the, so this thing here is not my build. It's actually the blueprint of a wreck I found on the server. And so I fixed it up. The server's currently down, but I fixed it up. And it's basically a mobile jump platform that you're actually supposed to kind of put another ship on, I think. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. You can put like a mining ship on it or whatever. But I think I'll just, since I'm going to take those things off anyway, I think I'm just going to put landing spots on here. So yeah, I found the wreck, I blueprinted it, I took it home, I fixed it up. But now I'm in creative trying to build out a ship for, build out, okay, none of these, right, 7. These guys are incomplete because that's how it works. Yeah, none of these guys are actually repaired. Surprised it can actually hold itself up. But right, this should be enough for our little guy over here. So we need like a box. We gotta lose all this. Because we need a big box here to do the testing stuff with. Nope. There we go. Some ice. And we'll need a beacon for this. Although oh, there's my beacon. And this will need a battery. Right on. Right. So the idea here is that we're going to use the AI box to set up something that can bring ice to this ship from home. So that's how I generally start my builds. And now I want to make sure that I get which one is it? I thought there were more. Yeah. So there we go. I want to make sure that I get my front and back continue to have cargo, just in case I decide I want to do something like that or in that way. But so now we want the battery. We want 3 batteries. So I think maybe we want 4 batteries. We don't want this thing to be too huge, but at the same time, we want it to have enough battery. And because it's a drone, it's not actually going to be super pretty. I considered doing something. Well, the problem is we wanted to just be able to carry a full tank of ice without being super overly expensive. And you gotta weigh out the differences between weight and carry capacity. And the AI blocks require that you have thrust in every direction. So our down thrust is cool, but we're going to need forward thrust and back thrust. and side to side thrust, which we'll get to in a moment. Right. I think this is probably overpowered for the job, honestly. But it's kind of looking cool like this. I mean, maybe, well, no aesthetics. The aesthetics are in the beauty of the machinery. I'm not going to wrap this up in a ship stuff. This is a drone. This is going to fly by itself. It's going to go from a predetermined point, which is this spot, to wherever this ship happens to be, and it's going to dump ice in the box. Mainly because I have 800k ice in a box at my base, and I don't want to carry it over by hand. And I also want to be able to have the drone bring me stuff later on. So let's find do I even have an automations bar here? I guess this is about to become our automations bar. I should have kept the camera. But automaton blocks, timer. I don't know why I have CA on there. Automaton, right. We won't need a custom turret. We might need any one of these. The event controller, automation timer block. We won't need these guys. We'll just need those three and a remote control. I don't even know if we need the remote control, but it'll be handy to have. And we'll need antennas, which are on a different bar already, I'm sure. If they're not, they should be. They're not. Okay, well, let's put antennas on that bar. Because this thing will need an antenna, which we'll just slap here. Love you, miss. Yeah, well, I've been doing it a lot, so feel free. Be a good way to talk to you. Alright, remote control. You know, that's a fine place for a remote control. Now I'm wondering, I'm not going to need this right now, but we're going to need that to be way up. So it would be good to see if it actually even picks stuff up. My antenna enabled? No. Let's try again. Right. No camera. Get out of it. Get its camera on. Alright, just the basic flight stuff right now. Not available. My You know what we don't have? Is any gyros. But it definitely flies. That's like key. There we go. It'd be handy if this thing had gyros, or at least one gyro. I think one is probably enough. Right. So we will definitely want a recorder. And a move block, but we also want a basic task block. Which doesn't actually have a front or a back, and a flight which does. Except that doesn't go there, it goes right there. And we probably want two right. Not move, but two recorders, right? So it can do the two different things. And then we have room for a couple of timer blocks. A couple of event controllers, just in case. Right, okay, well, that's unfortunate, but... Right. So I think that's like basically everything. And then we'll throw a helm on it, just so I can do the stuff. Because I prefer the helms over any other thing that doesn't require an actual cockpit. This thing should have some flashy lights and other doodads so you can see it. How about truss lights? Truss block somewhere. No idea what I just lost, but one in every corner and one, pour one out for the homies. Yep. I believe there's a way to copy all the settings in this. Okay. Steady red light on port. Steady green on starboard. Steady. Okay. So. This stern is aft. Truss port aft. Truss starboard aft. Starboard. Starboard. 4. And a little I remember that should not be there. That should be conveyors. We can put trusses right there. All the trusses. Because we're going to stick a little tail out. Make it 5 intensity, and before it gets the red light. And maybe not so intense. Intensity of 2, a bigger radius. Right. Hey, Wolftron, right on. Yeah, this is a great game, and it's about to change big time. Right, and then starboard gets the green light. And great, already forgotten, 6-meter radius, 2 intensity. No offset. I think that'll be obvious. And then tail. Also 6. No offset. Alright, now it looks like some kind of actual ship-like thing. But I think we want... I don't like the way that thing connects. There must be something we can do to it. If I can find where I left the whole truss arrangement with the plus sign on it. There we go. Right, what can we do with this that will be... What? Where's all my other trusses? Okay, well, go to the old standby. And just make it actually look like it's connected. I know this is premature. I haven't programmed the thing yet. But there you go. Right, so then we need that one? Yeah, nope. It's going to be in 4. And it's going to be the tip. Not the corner. Yeah, that one. Actually. Alright, am I... There we go. What did I just do? These are hard to find, and I forget that I'm in creative and can use double. Yeah, I can use mirroring. Okay, and then there is, I think that's actually back in 3 here. The slope, just a little pod. So it's glommed on. I'm going to leave it empty on the bottom in case I want to use that port. Oh, daytime, maybe. Do you happen to know the command? Off the top of your head? Time slider. Okay. Alt F10. Maybe weather? Nope. Where's the time slider? Admin tools. Nope. Oh, there we go. I'll make it like just morning then. Yeah, there we go. Alt F10 holds your admin tools for creative mode, and then apparently it's right there in my face when I hit it. But yeah, so this drone thing, I've never done this before, the programming of the drone, so bear with me as I use half-remembered things from a Splitsy video I watched 2 years ago or something. Important to get everything named, so you use the build info or the build whatever this mod is that I just use all the time. Build vision is the easiest way. Build vision in survival is also excellent. Right. I did put that on there. Okay. And saving your blueprint in process is also helpful, so when you inevitably screw up, you have it. Alright, so if I remember correctly, we should start by putting some things on our hotbar, specifically add waypoint for the whatever we're setting up for. And then the basic task one is for going to place it. I think I'm actually going to need 2 of those now that I think about it. But I'm out of room on the back, and I'm not out of room on the front. But I think I'm going to need another one of these for I'm going to need one of these for going to the remote ship quickly, and one for going to the base quickly. But so as far as the base goes, we put a GPS up, like kind of far away, but not too far away. Base, I don't know, whatever. Base inbound. So now we have that GPS there. Like I said, this is like half remembered stuff. So we need a GPS for that. But that's not the waypoint. Man. I'm gonna want the connector. On bar, and of course everything's on here. That's connector, okay. And that's switch lock. So if we switch lock that off for a minute, now that it's disconnected from the base, I have only its blocks and I can get them properly named. Cargo drone. No, here. Right. This is added by a mod called Easy Block Renaming or something like that. Easy Block Names. So we reset all the names so they no longer have silly numbers, and that kills my renaming of those, but it's important. Now I know no matter where I'm in looking, I know which blocks belong to which grid. Right, and so now we need one for base landing. And one for remote landing. And no active move type block. Yes. I am aware, and I don't think I need it for waypoint adding. So let's just make sure that that's our base landing block. Yes. Alright. So we want a couple. We want like one that gets it set up for this work. So that's waypoint 1. And then we want one that kind of gets it right over our connector. And that's going to be waypoint 2, and you'll have to reset this up on your base, of course. And then waypoint 3, we turn off our connector. Because this is, we want to be like right down on it. We want to make sure we're really on it. So that's probably pretty good. We really want to be as on it as we can be. And so that's our last waypoint. And if we show our waypoints, it makes things easier. Show path on HUD. and show AI functions. I don't see show AI functions. You can use the reference beacon, which we will be using in a moment. Alright, what did they say about show AI functions? Show on HUD enabled. Okay, info screen, show AI functions, and this has to be show on HUD. Right, so now we can see that we have like a starting point and a kind of setting up point and then a landing point. When we turn our connector on, and that should be good. So, whoops. So if we go back out here, we'll save the blueprint just which I, for some reason, is not doing, but all right. So assuming we just got here, we tell it to play. Oh, we got to enable the move. AI behavior on. So it should take us here. And then take us here. And then totally screw up. All right. We're going to need this to be on an on-off kind of thing as well. So that is not a good setup. I think we need one of these needs collision avoidance on, yeah, precision mode on, which we're going to need to set in a timer and an event and event controller kind of thing. And we're doing this on planet, so we'll say 5 meters for minimum altitude. Right. So you should play. Nope. Damn it. Waypoint 4 goes away. I can't name my waypoints apparently. But if we just go back out here, we've just arrived at our destination. We tell you to play and we turn on the autopilot. And so precision mode, we go here, And it appears to be in line with the, I don't know why it's facing that way, but it appears to be in line with the block itself. Continue. Oh, maybe I just hit play. I need like a... I need to tell it to play, because that's just on a... No, that's play on and off. What's your problem, bro? Oh, maybe the 5 meters? No, where are we? We're 37 meters. Why would you go that way? If you're watching, you know what I'm doing wrong. Feel free to speak up. I don't know why it wants to face that way. Okay, it's actually going this time. And it's going to really get the block right on the waypoint. And then it's going to do a bunch of junk. Okay, maybe we need 4. Alright, so we've arrived at the base and we're empty. Bam, we've gotten here. The basic task is basically go to waypoint, by the way. It's literally autopilot, one way, base inbound, add, and that's that. So now we can go, let's pretend that guy's over here, and we get our did I not name it correctly? Basic. Where's go? Maybe AI behavior on off rather than go. Alright, so we're in AI behavior with the move block. This is fast and well, fast if you set collision avoidance and stuff off. But it's going to get us somewhere near there. And go, okay, you're here. And then I'm going to turn autopilot off. And I'm going to say, from here, line up. Let's get a waypoint here. And then let's get a waypoint like right here. Nope. Oh. There we go. And let's get a waypoint. Let's turn our connector off. Let's get a waypoint like right here. Now, as I understand it, the more waypoints the better, really. So 3 gets us there. I'll even do 4. And actually, let's turn that on for a minute so it gets lined up. Maybe while I'm doing this, I should have... Right, I should have a button for that on the bar. You want it to be right on that thing though, because otherwise if it's not proper, it'll have issues. Right, so now with the connector on, it should catch the magnetism and do that. So we arrive at whatever, and our AI is already on, because it's been on, but we say, hey, go do your thing. Why it wants to turn around like this, I don't know. It didn't do that on the videos I watched. Go this one. Go that one. And then for some reason it wants... Oh, collision avoidance has to be off at this point. Right. I do remember. Because otherwise it tries to avoid that. Let's get you back to somewhere related to that. Do I need to like reset it or something? No, I need to turn AI on. So you should go. Autopilot, that's basic task. I don't know why it's choosing not to stay on. And it's not telling me either. Alright, well let's actually set a timer, or set up a timer that does all of that. So we're gonna turn that. We're gonna turn that on, and then we're gonna turn its AI behavior on to make sure. We're gonna turn that on, turn its behavior on, and play. Okay, which I guess happens when you turn the AI behavior on. Okay, so that should, oh no, we had some other stuff to do, dang. Right, it wasn't just that. From here, we need to set the move block collision avoidance off, precision mode on. And then we make sure that block's on, and then we tell it to do its thing. I think that's correct. And then we can put that on the bar. And say go. No. Go. No. What's your problem, man? I'm doing something wrong with my timer, I think. Oh, no, wrong timer. Light move, toggle block on. AI behavior, make sure that's on. Make sure collision avoidance is off, precision mode is on. Ah, no, we want that should be on, and AI behavior should be on. Let's try that. That should be off. No. It's not doing the thing. I don't know where you think you're not going, but you're... Okay, so you can actually do things like trigger a timer to wait a second and then block. Because it probably won't have gotten there. But We're going to try again. And we're going to that reference? Nope. All right. So we're here-ish. So we want to go, so like here, maybe those things should be more centered. But that gets a waypoint, and that gets a waypoint. Let's just waypoint the crap out of this thing. And then turn our connector off so we can sync, and that's our final waypoint. Now we can go look in here. And that should be lock. If this doesn't do it, I am going to put the lock right down the center instead of way out on the side like that. But we should be like here, and that should set everything off. But it doesn't. So I'm still missing something. Alright, flight is on, AI is on, collision avoidance off, precision on, and that is flight move. Make sure that the recorder lock is on, and we set the AI behavior on. And I don't see anything on this list. Oh, play on. Okay. There we go. I don't know why I didn't see that before. I think they just added it. But none of these things are being turned on. Right, flight's on, AI behavior's on, collision avoidance, precision. Turn the recorder on. Ah. Wrong block again. Maybe now. Right? And yeah, if you notice something, feel free to speak up, because I just want to get this done. It's not turning the block on. Which is bizarre. Flight on, AI, collision precision. I only have one flight block, right? Yeah. Alright. Block gets turned on. The AI gets turned on. And we say play. So that's on. Why does that keep getting turned off? It's not saying why. Alright, well, it looks like I need to do Alright, so I'm just going to do a little research here real quick, like, on my phone. Maybe, no, I'm going to do it on my phone. Let's see. Yeah, recorder block disables itself. Press play. Active on this same grid. Alright, so we turn all of those off and we turn that on. And then okay. And yet it has no active move block. So the move block is on. And the AI behavior block is on. And that's on AI behavior. Do I have another, like the other one? The AI behavior is off. I'll even turn the block off. I'll turn the remote control off. That's off. I'm not seeing any. Alright, so we need to make sure the basic block is off for sure. So we'll make sure that that happens. Oh man, which means we need to remove all of these. So basic block is off. Move. Actually, we turn this one off for the moment. Turn the move block on. Make sure its settings are correct. So that's off. That's off. Should probably turn the other ones off as well. That's off. That's off. Before we do anything else, we turn all the other ones off. So that one's off. Alright. That one's off, that one's off, that one's off. So then we turn the flight on and make sure its AI behavior is on. And make sure it's in precision mode. Make sure collision is off. And then we can move on to the recorder gets turned on. The AI behavior gets turned on. Now we need a new bar. And repeat is off. And AI behavior is on. I might have already done that, but don't care. And it should play. currently it's on and its AI behavior is on. And then we tell it to play and it just disables it. So and we need to make sure we're hitting the right one. Nope. All right. Right, we need to make sure that block is on and that is that the one? Yeah. Its AI is on. And 3 will be record waypoint. We'll remove that for now, just to prevent. Alright, I want to see the path. That may be what's confused it, is when I change the path. Nope. Right. That's already set, so show path on that. We need to show on HUD. Right. So we're here at the base inbound, and so then we want to go line up. That's 1, 2, 3. What I remember from the video was that more waypoints is better. Alright, we're just going to get the connector on and off on this. On and on. You're allowed to move 15 if you need to. you're on, and when we play, it doesn't do it. Okay, I'm not allowed to actually play it. Well, I'm baffled. Start at waypoint 1. Alright, what if we delete all waypoints? We turn the move block off. Come in here. Turn that off. So you're here. You've gotten to here. We'll try record. I am not in the right place. What's the error? That actually work? No, we want to start from 10. I'm gonna have to just go watch the video again and right. Let's delete last two. Call this the final one. That should not be a problem. Because there it's on. That's right. Let's watch Vayyne totally not be able to set up AI automation. I am really at a loss here. Right. Huh. It actually records all of that stuff. But they talk about waypoint 0. I only have a waypoint 1. Alright, let's just do something. Let's remove that. And that. So we have a flight block and the base landing recorder, a couple of timers, and we'll remove that one too. That's on and on. Yeah, exactly. Unless maybe the move block is triggering on something. It's like burning through the waypoints. A quarter block. Runs through all the waypoints. Well, the ship's built. Anyway. I mean, without the blocks, but that's fine. At this point, my base inbound is wrong. Like, from what I remember, I should be able to just hit play, and it should immediately go you can see it rolls through all the waypoints without actually moving to them. I never got that front one to green. That's actually silly to have 4 of them on there when I could just stick them on the sides. But that's a minor point. Alright, we're here. Let's have the move block on, but AI behavior off, just for this test. Okay, that's on, that's on. So 3. Give it fewer. Close. Right, and then we turn that off, we sink it down, we hit the last waypoint, then we turn it back on, and it should lock, but this should work. I tell it to repeat, it works. So I have some sort of like I must have some setting wrong, right? It should just do all this stuff. You're really having trouble getting lined up on that, though. What happened to align to P gravity? Yeah, you got this, man. Shouldn't need a remote control. Having trouble with that one for some reason. Maybe that's why it's breaking. What if we just delete waypoint 4 and have it go straight to 5? Alright, well that's not going to do anything because that thing's broken. Well, if I turn it on and repeat, it's just rolling through them like crazy. Oh, the update's going to go live at 5 p.m. Germany time, which I've calculated to be 10 a.m. I didn't see that until just now, but your question. But it's calculated. I've calculated it out to be 10 a.m. Pacific time. So 10 a.m. for me. And this thing's just waxed out. So let's stop it again. We'll go with the absolute minimum bits of everything. So not you. Not you. We'll leave the antenna on. That's the recorder task. No timers. No event controllers. Just this one block. And a spare battery. I saw it was actually having some sort of issues in that realm. Maybe it's a power issue. In fact, I suspect that it was having trouble with power, and that's actually what's going on. So 3 directions of movement gives us 71. On the power meter. So AI behavior on, play. And it's deciding to go to some other waypoint. It's like really rolling through them still. I don't even care if it skips a couple. But you're there. Yep. You're just having trouble getting right on that waypoint for some reason. Alright. We'll go back to that other thought I had. Which was that it really does need to be like right center. Which doesn't make a lot of sense if you ask me, but like the rest of this is easy. The rest of this is cake. Right, with timers and event controllers and triggers on waypoints and all of that stuff, it's all just super easy. Because make sure you're on. Make sure your AI is on. And weird, it did not have the play on. But we also want a record. Want to add the waypoint. So we'll say we'll get you here. And right, I need to reset up that stuff too. Show on HUD. AI behavior on. And show path on HUD. Right, and then we're gonna mark a point. actually going to come down and get triggered, and then I'm going to fly straight up and mark a point here. And that should put us right there. We turn that off so that we can plonk down and hit 4, and then right, and that should land it. If I turn the move block on, it shouldn't matter. Alright. So we turn the move block on, and then we hit play. And it still refuses to work. If I turn the move block on with AI behavior on, then it doesn't go. So I am missing something. So I'm just gonna have to freaking watch that video again. There's 2 of them that I have watched. We'll check how this does things. AI blocks. Space engineers. I swear that was, maybe it was cargo drones. No, not that. That's not it. Docking and launching automatically. Oh, that's Splitsy. Okay. Yeah, great.
Specific accurate path, and much like the movement controller, it has a specific orientation. It's got all the same faces as the movement controller, except at the top, which has an arrow to show it's a recorder. Let's place this one in here, correct way around, like so. Now we have enough pieces to be able to set up a method for connecting to.
We'll go all the way back though.
To get them. It's about getting a drone to automatically come down and lock to one of these connectors. We're going to need 2 of these blocks. We're going to need the recorder and the move.
And turn this up.
This instance replaces,
Maybe you guys can hear it.
the old autopilot system. It replaces the remote control. We no longer need a remote control on the drones. It's all handled by these AI controllers. To start setting up our drone, we're going to need a flight move controller. These have a specific orientation. You can see F for front, L for left, rear panel, R for right.
Look at this guy.
We have the icon on the top, and on the bottom we have nothing. Well, an arrow kind of shape that points where forward is. If you notice, all of these sides have something that kind of points forward so that you know where the front is. And the front is the side that doesn't have an arrow. Or a big thing saying rear panel. They really made this quite easy. What I've got here is a very simple atmospheric ship. It has thrust in all directions, which is important to get the most out of these AI flight controllers. They don't tolerate lacking thrust directions all that well. They can still cope, but they definitely work better if you give them thrust in every direction, even in a gravitational field. So that's why I have these thrusters pointing down. Obviously, you're also going to want a gyroscope and a power source for the thrusters, but all this other stuff I've got, like the cockpit up here, the guns, that's all superfluous. You really just need something with thrusters in all 6 directions, fuel / power
we've got
for
that.
those thrusters, and a gyroscope. So let's start by placing our movement control.
We got that.
Make sure we place it so it's facing forward.
We'll kill that one.
Not pointing forward. Now they are. We'll make sure the top is up, which is our little icon. Place that in there. The next block
Alright.
Board that connector. This method basically creates a new waypoint every 1.7 seconds, assuming you have moved at least 1 meter since the previous waypoint. That can work, but honestly, I think it's much better if we manually create our waypoints and set them up ourselves. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to our G menu, we're going to select our AI recorder block, and then we're going to select add waypoint. Now every time I hit that hotbar number 3, it's going to generate a waypoint for our AI recorder block, so that we can see these appear on our HUD and be able to actually see the path as we generate it. But we're also go to info and select show AI file.
Right.
Try and line ourselves roughly up over the connector.
Alright, so maybe...
There's our path between those two spots. Lower down, get closer. Trying to, as we get closer to this connector, line ourselves up just a little bit away, maybe 5 to 10 meters away. Generate a waypoint there.
Yeah, I have too many?
Come straight down.
Yeah.
Ideally, we want these lined up fairly close.
That's pretty good.
Doesn't need to be perfect, but close is good. The reason for that is that way it helps the AI line itself up properly to this connector. With an overhead connector like this, it's not as much of an issue, but with a front or rear or side mounted connector, it's going to be a bit more tricky. You're going to really want to make sure that it's got a nice straight path to just move directly onto that connector. So we'll create a third waypoint here. In order to get this to follow that path, what we need to next do is go to our AI flight move block. In this situation, the move block is going to do whatever the recorder tells it to once we tell the recorder to start. So we're going to turn AI behavior on for the move block so that it can take control of this vehicle, even though I'm in the cockpit. We're going to turn collision avoidance off, and because we want to very accurately get onto this connector, we're going to put precision mode on. I'm going to leave the speed limit as is, and I'm going to reduce the minimum altitude down to 0 because we need to get really close to the ground to land on this connector. Retain alignment to planetary gravity, and these max pitch, angle, and roll angles, they dictate how far, if I turn off the AI behavior and move block so that I can actually demonstrate this, those controls dictate how far you can lean forward, how far you can lean back, and how far you can roll side to side. So if you've got a grid that can't retain its altitude when it rolls too far side, forward, or back, then you're going to want to restrict those angles. Now, I deliberately built this so that this thing can even fly upside down and keep itself flying. I did that in this instance just to make sure this was as safe as it possibly could be. It's obviously not going to be a practical thing to have thrust in all directions that can retain the altitude of the ship when you've got something trying to transport heavy loads between places. Let's turn our flight move controller back on, and I'm happy with these angles because, as we demonstrated, this craft is capable of flying at all angles. Now the AI recorder block, we need it to start telling the move controller what to do. So we'll turn on its AI behavior, and we're going to click play, and the ship is going to head to waypoint 0. Well, it would if it could get away from the connector. The connector's magnet was a little too strong.
No idea why this works and it didn't before.
One thing to note is that when it's getting to the waypoints, it is putting the recorder block specifically on that waypoint. So if your recorder block is a long way from the center of mass of your ship, that may have an impact in how the ship ends up behaving while it's passing through these waypoints. Now, it should start just lowering itself down quite safely.
Right.
That connector.
Perfect. And it works. So that, I just needed to watch some splitsy apparently. That was basically it. So on waypoint 5, we set up the action to lock. And now we're going to add a timer, which says pull, which says which does some stuff. Oops. Alright. And their timer, base landed timer. I guess there's other stuff, but I'm going to give it like a 5-second, no, a 2-second delay so that it has time to get settled and locked. And now we're going to group our batteries and do a whole bunch of other stuff. And we have, yeah, these blocks need a reset and a prefix, and our recorder can be told it's the base landing. And right, batteries get a group, and I always name my groups for the types of things I type in when I'm looking for a given block. So battery, etc. I also want to pull ice, so I may want to set up like a filter with a pull. I think that makes some serious sense. Well, we got to turn off our light block and get over here and kill this connector. Oh, that was it. Right, and you cannot, we cannot do that, unfortunately. So we put the connector back. I'm going to have to use a different method. Turn drain oil on probably. And make sure that the box it's connecting to only has ice. Because again, in this case, I'm trying to bring ice from my ice base to my jump platform. The jump platform is something I found out in the wilds, part of the MES Rex mod, and fixed stuff. And now I brought it to creative so I can try to make it even better. But alright. So I'm just going to have to make sure that the box I connect to only has ice. And can only have ice, or the connector I connect to, actually. The box doesn't matter. As long as there's a sorter on it that only allows ice through. So, turn my headphones back on. And set up actions, which is going to be this connector, collect all on, but also probably thrusters off and batteries to recharge. So I'm going to need thrusters in a group. batteries in a group. I think that's all I need. Although I do want to get that connector named again. Just in case I decide to add a front connector or something. I won't need that camera. Although I left it in a place where it's fine, so it's fine. Base landed timer block, set up actions, select all on, batteries, recharge, thrusters off. Right, so now this, I want to set up actions on that. So actually, I want the connector on the timer, because we get 2 seconds to do this. So we're gonna remove all these. Connector is lock, then collect all. Then set our batteries to recharge, which means we don't actually need to turn off our, no, we do need to turn off our thrusters because they'll probably just play from base power otherwise. So that goes to recharge, except not that one, recharge on. Right. And now we're good for landing. So our landing action is complete. We can go out, back out here. So that was the key thing I was missing, by the way, was the keeping the recorder blocks on center, basically. And might as well have your flight movement block on center as well. So base landing, waypoint 5. We call our base landed with a start so that it actually waits that 2 seconds. And now our move block should be turned on. It should already have AI. So this one should now go to 1. And I know this is a little wonky, and I'm going to have to reset up the waypoints and recall the thing when I actually go into my survival game. But the server's down, so I can't actually do that. So it should call the timer, and it should fill up. And our batteries should be on recharge right now. And they are. And our box should be full of ice. All 3K of it. For some reason. Well, it's not passing it through to not passing it through. It's not passing it through, guys. Why is it not passing it through to the... cargo container. Another search, because this is the only way to figure it out. Is on the backs of and wisdom of others. Throughout obviously is not it, but yeah, but right, except that okay, so what I could do, and what might make actual sense, is to actually remove that connector as input. Well, I'm gonna have to remove it, but so thrusters on, batteries on auto, unlock, and turn off our block. So then we'll just go back out here and do the work. I've always wanted to play with this stuff, but right. Okay, goodbye, ice. So ice in, and then the connector. And then we'll do ice out. And another connector. And then over here, we'll need a different connection system. So we'll need a something a little bit taller, I believe, so that that thing has good range, good room to connect. And it'll just come find this and hook up once we get it right. So now we have our sorters. Okay. Yeah, except which connector's which, right? I couldn't play without I couldn't play without build info at this point. Right. So, oh, well, you also have to name your sorters. So you know which one is which. Right. So then we have to change our timer block so that bottom connector input locks and pulls. And then, yeah, and these do their thing. But then our input sorter gets told to whitelist ice for this iteration of the thing. That ends up in the list, which means I want to throw some other junk in this thing to ensure that the test is right. Is that Alt F10? No. Alt F11? No. Alt F. Spawn Shift F10. Let's throw 1,000 Clang Colas in there and some cobalt ore. And some iron ingots. Looking pretty good. Alright, so this should straight up if we turn our AI on that and we hit play, it should do its thing. Before we get there, I make sure that train all is on, which it should never be off in this scenario. So two turns on and our cargo container gets filled up. Slowly. But it does get filled up. And then we could throw an event timer on here, or an event controller on here that says that the right way? Or is it the other way? I think it's that way. Now I don't know about the anding of event controllers in multiple situations. I know that I can say things like, if all my cargo boxes are filled, then do something. What I would really like to say is, if all my cargo boxes are filled and my battery power is over 80%, then go do something. So I'm not sure if that's possible or not. I could do something crazy with that, because there is a whole thing about merge blocks connecting. So I could literally, if I can find a merge block, I should have one on here somewhere. I could do something really funky to signal my next controller, actually, which I've never tried. So I mean, I've never tried to chain event controllers like this before, but if I were to, like, just stick two merge blocks on here, right, so they're connected, so that's one event controller. That's one event controller action. Which could signal the other event controller to check that. No, because then it's just a merge block with an action. That's silly. Okay, never mind. I'm missing something. But let's just look in the event controller and see. I don't see any other non-CD'd ones. That's not really a top connector, that's a front connector. Right, and our output doesn't need a filter. It's just there for drain all. Should be off for now. And that connector should have a collect all and throw out, but that should be triggered so that it's turned off when we're flying around. Otherwise we'll just be pushing ice out the front. Oh man, I just had this idea that I have to try. Because this is a frequently unused block that may or may not be in this list. Nope. So instead of docking we just pull up. We just pull up and just dump everything out the front, which would be super fun. Yep, okay. This really is about experimentation and learning this session, rather than, I mean, I did build a drone and I will blueprint it and bring it into my game, but yeah. But we're gonna get rid of these and do that differently. Bradford. Okay, one cargo filled turns on the battery charge event controller, and when it's empty, turn it off. That's a good idea. Thank you. That's awesome. I wasn't even thinking in terms of on and off. But that, yeah, there we go. That's how you and them together. Yeah. The second EC triggers takeoff, go send another load when the batteries are above 80% or whatever. And when it takes off, it's actually a timer that turns itself off. It triggers a timer that turns itself off. Or I guess the event controllers now have full bars, so it's no longer a one-on-one thing. I think I just saw that. Event controller. Okay. So we call this cargo full. And then we go back out. I thought I put 2 on. Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. Okay. I don't know why it always wants to put it wrong side up. But, all right. So one thing I was doing was these trusses. And if I'm remembering right from about a half an hour ago, right is red. So the second EC will actually trigger the second recorder that I don't have on here yet. But let's get this guy going. So, no, not this guy. Let's get the cargo full one. Cargo filled, equal or greater than, say, 90%, because it gets wonky if you push for exactly 100, maybe 90. I think with ice it'll not be a big deal, but 95% is fine. And that's the block. And when that happens, we, oh, okay, yeah, we turn this on. And then we need another timer because we want more than one thing to happen when the battery charge triggers. So that one gets and that was kind of crazy. I had like, I know like streaming nuts and bolts isn't a great topic, but I just thought it was interesting. I had like 10 viewers, and then I turned on that splitsy video to figure out where I was going wrong, and I lost like 6 people. Just boom. I think they were enjoying watching me struggle. Right, deliver goods timer. Where is that battery? Where is that battery event controller? Battery charge, that's because it doesn't have a CD, so it's not actually in the right. These guys are all wrong because I forgot to put a space, but I don't care. Or maybe I should care, because they're not in the right. Okay, now I'm going to have to do them each individually. I gotta have this stuff right or I won't be able to find anything later. Alright. But why that's sorted like that, I don't know. Let's see if it gets resorted when I come back in. Yep. Yep, because now we have that. Perfect. So that's batteries. or power, possibly stored power, is equal or greater than 90. And it's all three of these blocks, and they're ANDed. And that triggers the deliver goods timer. And the deliver goods timer can't do anything yet because we don't have the rest of what we need. So we gotta lose some of these blocks for the moment. This is probably a really bad idea to add them all to this truss, but it's fine. Rear panel, left, right, yeah. Alright. So this one is different because oh yeah, well actually that's not what we trigger yet, because that's just remote landing. But we want to get to a thing first, so we need a basic task as well. And we're going to need 2 basic tasks, I think. So, deliver goods timer. Well, let's actually name some of these other basic tasks. Go to base. And go to remote. So that's actually just going to trigger timers. Or no, that's part of the timers. Okay. So let's actually disconnect our connector if and I can find it. Well, let's also prefix these guys. Right. Front connector, bottom connector, and maybe turn on thrusters and stuff. We'll get this as if we're going to use it ourselves. Oh, come on, you can't take off? Whoa! Nice. Did I break some? No, not much. What did I do? I set it to charge. Oh. So did I break something else, or am I just so weak that I can't? I must be so weak that I can't right myself. I haven't broken anything else, have I? Lost connectors or lost timers or anything? I don't see any scrap. Alright, well. Do we have maybe another gyro? And I guess maybe 4 of these is not enough. Should be enough. No? Oh, autopilot's still enabled. And that was on 8. Okay, that's right. I should be able to actually turn myself on though, right? I mean, I guess four thrusters can't run this thing. Or 4 smalls. Well, obviously the answer is to replace our 4 smalls with 2 larges, which we can't do. So why are you going there? Oh, I know why. Because all of our thrusters are off. Alright, but obviously this thing can't really go. I've got 2 gyros now. Maybe I should throw 2 more on. I think part of that was, yeah. Let's go 4 gyros. Maybe it will go, but I think it probably doesn't stay. Yeah, I'm not real happy with being anything but. Would be helpful if I were facing the right direction. Not real happy with anything but up and down, but straight up and down, which is actually fine because it's supposed to be aligned to peak gravity, and that's that. But the basic task is, or basic task 1. Oh, well, let's get these guys fixed. I don't know why that. I know I'm a little retentive about my naming, but it really does make a difference. Okay, and the front connector is borked, so let's fix that, because we're gonna need that. And you're off on purpose, because we have some actions. So let's just set up go to base real quick like. So that's just gonna put us maybe right here. I think we'll go up a little higher. Right. And we lost our rear truss light. Where is that? Go to base. AI basic, go to base. Right. Autopilot. One way. I like to keep the default name, like thruster, turret, antenna, whatever, but I like to, number one, have the prefix so I always know which ship is which, but I also like to add things to it, so no matter how I'm thinking about it at the time, I can find it. I might look for a basic task at some point, or whatever, or basic, or task blocks, or some stupid thing. So we add that waypoint, and that should have that should be that, right? Like if I trigger that, maybe if I go try out my dumping really quick just for funsies, since this thing is really sluggish and doesn't handle these things well. This is about the minimum. I may want to put more larges on this. I may want to rebuild it, what it comes down to. But what you should be able to do with this collector idea is pull up to about right here I think. Maybe a little bit more forward. Yeah, like right there. And trigger output. And it should start throwing ice out this order. Assuming I actually turned on the drain all is there. Oh, the other bit. I'm gonna go with output. I should go with output. Throw out and collect all. Yeah, so rather than all the docking and all that crap stealing power from my mobile ship, we just have it dump everything and fly home. And then it doesn't need to navigate to a docking thing, it can just come right up to there. Yeah. So now we're out here, but let's pretend that our jump thing is way over here. And we've just dumped to it. So that move controller needs to be actually set to let's actually say you're only allowed to go 20 first of all. So we turn your speed limit up to whatever. We'll also have to, we're gonna have to like roll a whole bunch of things. Oh, I don't ever want anything numbered. Which is why I love the block renaming mod. Because I can just reset the names. And then they're not numbered. I have almost never a need for numbering. But let's trigger that basic task and make sure that works. Which is go to base. Which means we actually have to turn the flight block on. And then this should, assuming it can get there, take us as fast as it wants to. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to redesign this thing with big thrusters, which probably means more batteries. So from here, that's close enough. And then we have to mod our move controller, so we turn that off. At this point, our recorder should be off as well, because it gets confused. That should be off. We have to go mod our thing to set our speed limit back to 10. And maybe we want separate move blocks. Maybe we want a move block that we turn on that's set already. For fast flight. And a move block that's already set for precision and all that stuff. And collision avoidance on and precision mode off. Etc. So that's all good. So then we turn that on. And the AI behavior is already on. We turn that on. And that on and hit play. And this should go get us another load. And it should trigger, although I don't think I set it to trigger that timer yet. The landed timer. So let's go do that. Base landed timer block should turn those off, and then it should trigger. Oops. And here's where we forgot to do that. Yeah, I love it. Alright. I wonder if I threw 4 larges down and 2 in each direction, I could go more cargo at once. Probably need more batteries as well. But yeah, so what I was going to do was set that base landing to trigger, to turn on the cargo full, although that just stays there already. So when it fills, which it may never fill because maybe there's not enough ice in there. Yeah, there's not enough ice in there. So that's on charge, and cargo full reached 96%, so that should have triggered that, which is the battery full, battery charged event controller, which should trigger the deliver goods timer, which probably has nothing in it yet. So the deliver goods timer, probably just a 2-second. Yeah, it had nothing in it. So, okay, well, that one's going to make sure everything else is off, or at least the AI behavior is off. and that's on. And AI is on. And then we could set all of these things, like set speed limit to 100 and set precision mode off, collision avoidance on, max altitude, or there's of course they didn't add min and max altitudes to the thing, so 2 move blocks actually makes more sense. So we throw a second move block on. Right, which then, alright, so, right, where are you? There you are. Yeah, flight move, travel, and docking. And then so travel minimum, need to find that travel now. Docking will be up here. That's on. That's off. That's perfect. Speed limit maxed. Minimum altitude 100 meters. Again, seriously rigid, strict angles. Like, do not do any wonky maneuvers. Alright. And then docking has a 10-minute, has no altitude limits. Also limited roll though. Also aligned. Precision on, collision off. That's a way better way to do it than to go set all those things every time. So go to remote is that, but where was it? Delivered goods timer. And do I have a go home timer or go to base timer? No, but I'll need one. Well, I'll put that on in a minute. Deliver goods timer. toggles that on. Or actually, let's do the move blocks first. That one gets turned off. That one gets turned on. We've got a unlock. And send it to remote. Well, did I turn that one on? I did. No. Right. So that gets turned on and gets triggered. It should happen when I turn AI behavior on. Yeah, I believe. Otherwise, it's kind of useless. So, oh, you know what? We should really like turn the thrusters and the power on and stuff. Wish there was a way to insert things. Right. We'll turn our thrusters on, and we'll set our batteries to recharge off. And then our bottom connector gets unlocked. And then we turn our, that's already on. Then we turn our go to remote on, and we turn the AI on. And it should go, right? Like, I don't see do it now thing. So that should just go, except the go to remote doesn't have any setup yet. But that's the beacon. That's autopilot one way. And we don't have a waypoint for that yet. Jump platform beacon. It's not a GPS, it's a beacon. These aren't based on beacons. Okay. So Remote landing is based on the jump platform beacon. But I'm gonna move this thing. Be the first time I've ever flown this. Actually. Oh, is it still considered? Let's turn on all of thrusters. No, we don't. Yes. Wow. Maybe we don't need all of the thrust. Let's build a little better. Let's get this guy over maybe here or something. Wow. Never even looked at this stuff. Okay. So based on that, remote landing is based on... Have a good one. Enjoy work if that's possible. Okay. You're based on the reference beacon. Right, so we need to now remove all of these things. Well, actually, let's see. Right, yep. Well, let's just go to 2. Lock on, AI behavior on. Play on. add waypoint. Back to 1. So why are we not taking off though? You literally not take off now or something? They're all on. Oh, autopilot engaged. Ha! Well, actually, no. We can't have autopilot on right now. Okay, well, travel doesn't work because the docking travel thing doesn't work necessarily. Although, yeah, it kind of does. Because I'll bring it to a specific spot. And then I'll turn that move block off and the docking move block on. Using its action. Right. But, maybe behavior off. This thing really can't leave. Why is that one even on? What miss? It's on, okay. So we'll start in the back here. And we'll say this is good enough. We need to be 100 meters because we're still in AI move. So we come up to here. And call it 105 meters. And then we go to 2. And we mark 1. But I guess I didn't set that to show. No, not that. Show path on HUD. Right? Show path on HUD. And show on HUD. That should have given us our waypoint. Unless 4 wasn't, yeah, 4 was add waypoint. And if we look at the waypoints, we have a waypoint. Come down and give it another waypoint. Come down and give it another waypoint about here. And then we need to be right over that thing. And that's the final waypoint. And just to test, our output connector, that's on, and that's on drain all. Turn that on. And it's picking up stuff. Let's get a waypoint here, and then let's get another waypoint a little bit closer. Like there. That's about perfect. Maybe a little bit, no. Right there. Alright. So, I would like to see my waypoints though. Show path on HUD. Based on the jump platform. We're not seeing those. I'm going to have to set all this up again because I'm going to rebuild the ship. But understanding how it works is important. And I'll get better and faster at it. So, if I turn the move block on now, okay. So let's go out here somewhere. Actually, waypoint 1 is where the move blocks change. Assuming we can even do that, now that I think about it. We may have to, Oh, you didn't like it. Is that because my travel block is not on? Yeah. AI behavior. So you go to 1, and then you should turn off that and turn on the next one and hit play again, maybe on yourself. Alright, so we set so in this case we have travel on, docking off. Maybe we don't need to turn them on and off. Maybe 2 move blocks can. No, that makes no sense. Which block would it use? Alright. So it should go here. And then it should play again. So it may have to turn its AI behavior on again as well. No, it's still playing. It should have an active move type block. So we stop it and then we... Alright. Remove that. Remove that. We'll actually say stop. Oh no, it's going to keep hitting 2. It's going to keep hitting 1. We can't do it that way. Alright, well, it's late. I'm going to have to watch I'm going to have to watch the remote moving grid video again and do all that, but I gotta get some sleep because I probably have work to do tomorrow, or at least meetings or something. But when I'm done with work, or if I don't have work for whatever reason, then I'll be streaming. Guaranteed streams on Saturday and most likely on Sunday. The rest is all related to when I work, like when work is available and when I do it. So thanks for watching, guys. Maybe sub and like if you want. Silly thing to say, but apparently it has to be said or you're not really doing it right. And I'll catch y'all later.